Welcome to another episode inside the courtyard. This is a mid-March update, and this episode is pretty much, I think, just going to be on the two sessions, which happened. When was it again? Early, like
It was
March.
from the 5th to the, I think
Yeah,
the 11th or something like that. It lasted more or less 10 days, something like that.
yeah. And as we've said many times before, this is the annual meeting of the National People's Congress of the CPPCC.
I dare you to say the full name. I
Yeah,
dare you.
listen. The Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, bro.
I, res- I respect you so much for this.
um,
Oh, man.
so
Yeah.
this year, what you got? What you got? The
Oh,
economic
yeah. Well,
stuff is meh, but
I mean, like, let's go with some simple things. So, as we know, the two sessions, especially like during the Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao era, were like much more flamboyant, if you can say it like that, much more interesting because people were actually saying some shit that was actually actual opinions, which was cool, which was cool. But what we're saying now is more like a praising the leader kind of thing. So it's more like ceremonial more than anything else. There's no real room for dissent. And this year, I mean, we have a lot of things, some interesting proposal. What I like to do is usually review the weirdest proposal that were put on the table by some committee members because, like, usually these are awesome. Like, this is just so good. And before
oh
we get to
no,
the actual thing that have meaning for us, they have a few like proposal that is suggested by CPBCC committee member because usually these are usually some dudes from the MPC sometimes will bring up some weird policies or some weird things, but most of the time, for an unknown reason, they're a CPBCC member. Like, I don't know, they're adamant to bring weird stuff on the table. I don't know. The first thing was like some dude said, like, there should be like two college entrance examination. So what he wait, so what he suggested was there should be like a double screening process. Like, the first time it should be a qualification kind of examination, and then the second time should be like more of a selective examination with emphasis on like professionalism and stuff like this. So kind of some of the things that maybe the U.S. universities are doing, like you need to apply to with the SATs, and for some schools you need to go to a meeting or an interview, and like people were like rioting over it. It's like yeah, this is just a way that's like some bad students with rich parents can just go up, like circumvent the rule of like the scoring rule. Like, this is just another way to do that. So this won't pass, but that was a good one. Oh yeah, the one that you like probably the most, changing the name of the renminbi to yuan. There was an actual proposal on the table.
like
Some
oh
dude
my god,
some dude actually suggested that it because renminbi is too politicized, and like changing it to yuan would help it to promote it as a world currency.
that's
And this guy was like ridiculed hardcore online. I just couldn't believe he said that.
that's
Oh man,
absolutely stupid. That's so
yeah. There's
dumb.
Oh, but hold on, there's more. There was one on legal surrogacy, which was actually has potential to be good, but the way, like, the guy was unprepared. Like, he didn't think about anything. Like if you look at these laws in U.S. and stuff like this, like they have like a real framework for surrogacy, how it works. Like, anyway, legally speaking, it's pretty binding. But the way you just like, oh yeah, this we should be able to do that. Like, just an idea floating around.
Oh my
Like,
god.
but there's potential. There's potential. One more was like cancel all the compulsory English courses from school. I was
Wait,
like,
wait,
oh
wait,
man.
wait, wait, wait.
Uh,
Wait, let's be honest. It's not like these are doing much anyways.
no,
So
no, you're right. But you see what I mean, right? That's not good.
it's not
One
good,
dude.
but it's not like it saves time and resources. It's not like people
That's
who go
actually very
through
fair.
people who go through the system can't speak English. So it
No,
doesn't
they
really
can't.
matter.
They study it, but it's kind of useless.
I mean, I'm sure their understanding of formal grammar is much better than you or I, but
But that's irrelevant.
exactly.
That's irrelevant. Because if you can speak right or use it in an actual context, like use it to talk to someone, not just to find like can we exchange language? Like bro, get the fuck out of my face. Ew.
Does that also mean they're going to cancel? Like, would the proposal entail also canceling the
No,
level
it
4 and
hasn't been
level 6?
approved. No, it hasn't been approved. All I'm saying, like, these are my list of weird proposals because it always happens. Always,
This
there's always some weird stuff that
I like
people
the
are
way
proposing.
I like the way this guy's thinking because, to be honest, like most Chinese people can't even write or speak Chinese properly, anyways. Maybe we should spend more time learning Chinese. Like honestly, bro, like you get somebody from Sichuan, bro, you can't understand what they're saying.
You go to Shanghai and you're doomed.
Exactly. So like
Let's put it this way,
teach Mandarin properly first before we move on
bro.
to any other language.
Bro. Oh, one dude said to lower the age of marriage. I was like,
Oh yeah,
I mean, like to 18 is like, okay, wasn't that already the case? Like,
no,
anyway,
it's 21, isn't it? Isn't it 20? 21?
I don't know, man. All I was like, bro, the age of consent is like what? Is like 14, I think.
It might be 12.
Oh, anywho,
Because okay,
that was just a weird one. Like, oh, one dude, and you see these. Some of them are just catering directly to what Xi Jinping said over the months. Like, one dude suggested that they should incorporate the thinking of like Zheng Jian in the textbooks. You know that like the late imperial industrial, like the guy, yeah, that dude, the dude who's supposed to set the bar for like how patriotic businessmen should behave. Anyway, one dude said that, and the physical education class by gender. This is so. I mean, it's so in tune with the discussion they're having, like making Chinese men manlier, and the dude said exactly that. Like, make boys more like boys. I was like, wow, like we're digging in some pretty interesting things right now.
honestly, like this and the English thing, like both physical education and English go, like is pointless. Don't waste your time, resources on this shit. It's not gonna do anything. Like
You know what he suggested that girls should do?
what? Oh no.
Rope skipping, yoga, and other flexibility exercises.
Bro, this
I was like, okay, man, I kind of respect that, kind of, but like, I don't know.
scrap physical education. Like, oh my god, this is so pointless.
And the last one, which is also good. I don't know how to phrase that one, but like, basically, the dude is asking for marriage and love education provided in university.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I mean, as an elective.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let's dissect this a little. Let's dissect this a little.
Oh no, sorry, my mistake. Like, basically, she suggests that marriage and love education should be more of a compulsory course for college student instead of just an elective. So
Elective? It's an elective?
Yes, it is. Apparently, it is. Apparently, she's upset about that. Apparently, she wanted to be compulsory. Compiled
Wait,
marriage and love education in curriculum textbook based on actual cases, bro.
Hold on. This dumbass Zhongxian member might be onto something. Hold on, because
I'm inclined to be on your side, but like I don't want to dig into that one too much.
It does kind of make sense. Like we all know, this is not a laughing matter, but
yes, it is.
The level, like the incidence rate of spousal abuse in China is so fucking high. Like,
oh yeah,
and
just like that McDonald's scene we witnessed.
Oh yeah, I remember that. We will talk about that another day. But
bro,
do they have family courts? Are there family courts in China?
I mean, probably, but are they useful? Is more of a question. Like, yeah. This is Don't go in there. Pointless. But I mean, these propositions are actually pretty good compared to what we've seen before. Like, for example, I remember there was one time one dude wanted to remove criminal penalties for drunk driving.
Oh my god!
Yeah, yeah.
You know what?
And wait, hold on. It was like, okay, and there was also, but see, this one was a good proposition. Like, also, these are all past propositions, not this year, but past one. There was one that said like uh, they should really reinforce the Han culture, and one of them was also we should have a national like Hanfu like clothing, like the Hanfu day, so the Han cloth day.
I thought there was one.
Well, maybe that passed. Maybe that passed. All I'm saying is like these were not too bad. I mean, it's kind of decent this year. Like, I mean, I get the logic of some of them. Some of them are just really weird. But hey, that was just a funny part. Like, maybe the most interesting part of this, I think it's basically two or there's I think there's three things that we should kind of remember. The Hong Kong topic, kind of important, although we knew that the Central Committee and Xi Jinping wanted to make changes to the electoral laws and how politics governance is actually implemented in Hong Kong. So going from Hong Kong people managing themselves to patriots managing Hong Kong. We expected that. This is exactly what we've seen. But what we saw, and this I didn't expect, was a clear disagreement between Wang Yang, who is the president of the CPPCC, and Li Keqiang. Like, I didn't expect that they would have such contradictory view on that topic, because usually you feel that Wang Yang was really kind of outspoken, sort of not really on the side of Xi Jinping, not to say against, because I think against it's a stronger word. And now we've seen, like, I think he swallowed the Xi pill, and he was really just spewing back the like patriots should, and no more one country two systems, none of that. Well, Li Keqiang in the press conference still mentioned it, so it's kind of weird. Like, I think like that was probably one of his last allies to be kind of on the edge of like trying to save the party or tell the truth. So that was kind of surprising, although it's just one more, let's say, one more footstep in the direction of going away from or departing from the Deng Xiaoping legacy, which is kind of what Xi Jinping is doing. So, I mean, I kind of get it. And massive reshuffling in the Hong Kong liaison office. I think like over the last year, I think there's 480 dudes working there. I think they've changed half over the last year, which is a lot. Again, telling you that they're preparing to take over more space, more institution, and more be more hands-on in the governance, local governance. So we expected that. So that's one thing. The second thing that could be interesting is, and that's still a draft, but I think this will pass like with no problem, because it's kind of interesting but pointless at the same time. Yeah, I mean, but you know what I mean. So the NPC, like, okay, according to the draft, the NPC could appoint or remove vice premiers and state councillor in between meetings. So this gives you, let's say, massive leeways to undercut Li Keqiang in the state council, because you can just fuck with his team at will. So that's pretty interesting. But at the same time, there's a clause like, okay, they can do that, but according to the premier's recommendation. So it's kind of like, okay,
that's
you see, like, people say, oh yeah, it gives a lot of power, like, to undermine Li Keqiang. Like, yeah, but at the same time, I mean,
he gets to veto.
Yeah, and even if he didn't, that wouldn't do much. Because, like, okay, you just reshuffle vice premiers, okay? Then, because if you do that, you shank the whole team. Because they're already working on projects, like, oh, reshuffle at will, just like that. Yeah, okay, so shank your own team just a little bit more. Like, I don't know. I kind of understand what he's trying to do, because sometimes people need to be changed before their terms, which is fair, but the result could be really bad, like very suboptimal. And the second clause inside the draft is like the Central Military Commission head, which is Xi Jinping, could also provide like a recommendation to remove Central Military Commission member at will in between meetings, and the NPC could do that. So again, like, so Xi Jinping said he could say remove that dude, and they could just go with the flow. I mean, this is taking rubber stamping to a whole new level. It's like you had it to.
Does it materially change anything?
It like not really, but it just shows to what extent the system is trying to fight with itself to just create a semblance of counterpower. Like you need to respect the amount of things they're doing just to make it look legit. You have to respect it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was asking myself the same thing. So I was watching TV, and then they show like the NPC people voting on like legislation. I'm
Yeah,
like, what's even the point of voting? And then I was like, yeah, it kind of makes sense because you gotta still like you're showing your own people. You're not really showing anyone else because nobody is convinced by your fucking process.
yeah.
So
It's a nice it's a nice scripted performance. That's all it is.
for your own people. So
Yep.
um I
So yeah,
mean,
no, but like I said, the main difference now this year versus other years is like the scripting is really to a different level. Like nobody really goes off script anymore, uh, versus what we saw, especially like under Jiang Zemin and Zhu Rongji. Like some people actually had ideas they brought to the table. They actually had ideas, which is good. You don't see that anymore at all. So nah. So that's the second thing, and the third thing would be, let me see what I had. Oh yeah, okay, these are yeah, okay, maybe the third thing, if I only had to choose three, would be the press conference that was held after the fact on the 11th, by Li Keqiang, because
oh, that was quite well reported on.
yeah, because like this is the thing you can't really control, so things can be said during the press conference that potentially Xi Jinping does not agree with, potentially. And what people really paid attention to, and this is something we've been talking about for, I mean, probably weeks, if not months, unemployment
Oh
that
yes.
came back on the table. And the thing that he said, which, I mean, oh man, I don't know what it means exactly, but oh boy. He said there's still around 200 million people on flexible employment.
Oh, that just confirms what fucking we wrote last
No, but
month.
like, people were like, the comments that were made on that was like, okay, does he mean part time or does he mean just odd jobs? And some people were like, yeah, but odd jobs and part time are almost the same thing. I was like, yeah, I mean, the words that they use, kind of. I mean, I kind of agree that most likely these odd jobs are probably part time. They're not like traditional regular jobs. So I kind of get what he's saying, and this just goes against the overall discourse on poverty alleviation that Xi Jinping is trying to consolidate, or he's really trying hard to shovel it in our mouth. But the problem is, like, this confirms what we've been thinking. If there's 200 million people on flexible employment, oh man, this is not good. Ooh, this is not good. And he even corrected the figures for what's coming in 2021, saying that we expect another 14 million newcomers on the market this year. I was like, oh boy.
What do you mean newcomers?
And
Like 40 million entering the workforce?
workers, 14 million people on the workforce.
Entering the workforce?
Yep,
Oh yeah.
including 9 million grads. And I was like, oh boy. And last year, and this is, again, like, I'm really unsure about the figures, although he said like they kind of created 11 million jobs, but I'm not sure if it's like in the flexible or not. Most likely it is. So if you give it your best shot during a kind of a recovery period and you provided 11 million new jobs, 14 million is going to be a massive stretch this year. Oh boy, it's going to be tough, my friend. Oh, and prior to the two sessions, I don't recall where it was specifically, but he was like going in some villages looking at like shops, small shops, because he's really about the small shops versus large SOE stimulus pack of Xi Jinping, because he kind of knows that small shops are driving the economy, and I don't know why the National Reform Commission wouldn't know that. I think they know, they just don't care, or they just go with the flow, probably. But anyway, so some of the comments that were reported from the meetings that he had are astounding. Oh man, a dude said like, okay, yeah, we're still working and blah blah blah. So Li Keqiang asked like, okay, well, what about the wages? I was like, yeah, we don't really have wages, but like the life costs is still are paid by the store, but we're not allowed to be laid off. I was like, ooh, oh boy, did you said something you shouldn't have, my friend. Ooh, you said like we're not allowed to be laid off. Do you understand what that means?
Oh my god.
Ouch. This means like the unemployment figure are like, we know that they have been deflated on purpose. We know that they are inflated in reality, but knowing that, we know that they could be even more, like it could be even larger than we think,
What
even
was
more than the inflated numbers.
what was that report that got pulled by that Chinese securities firm that was analyzing? Did they say 20 something percent?
I think at some point they were around 2025, yeah. But
Yeah. So
that's months ago. But I mean, to the extent that we don't know how many people were reabsorbed in the workforce, tough call. Or as they just relabel it as flexible employment, we don't know. So I'm still really, I think he knows that the key is unemployment because he really talked about it. I think he knows. And this is where you see that people are slightly delusional versus reality, because he kind of knows, he's hinting at it. And on the other side, you have people like Xi Jinping is saying like, oh yeah, poverty alleviation was the first step. Now we need to think about what was he saying again? Like uh,
welfare? Was it welfare?
uh, prosperity. So like, yeah, the second stage, like, yeah, kind of like prosperity kind of thing. So, but like Li Keqiang is like bro, like employment, like come on, dog, like focus.
Yeah, there's a big problem, right? Because based on what we've seen, the largest driving pistons of the recovery are all like large industrial SOEs, right? So the problem with that is these things aren't very manpower heavy. I mean, they can be
No,
for like these sectors can absorb a lot of like I'm not uneducated, but let's say like bachelor's degree level. But then once you hit like master's and PhD, which we know is oversaturated in China, like if you're a PhD, would you go work at a fucking steel mill? I don't know.
no,
Like those posts are hard to come by, and those
yeah, but
yeah, you
but
know what I
again,
mean.
like, yeah, I know what you mean, but like large SOEs are good for like an overall, but in reality, they're not really that good, because if the project is to be made like a road or something, it will benefit the SOE and the surrounding areas only. But why Li Keqiang is so focused on small and medium companies, it's simply because they provide services and have direct impacts on all the communities, all of them. So if you provide support to them, they will, kind of like recreate local economic life, because SOEs are not everywhere. Like they're at some places, but not everyone will benefit. That's the main problem, and like there's so many small businesses that I think if you're thinking about trickling down, which I think is what they are thinking, SOE is good, but I think a small medium could be better in the long run, especially if you're trying to pull the whole ship at once.
Well, the problem is that the SOE shit, you have to rotate between the various sectors, right? So
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know to what extent they can probably keep doing infrastructure for like maybe a few more decades, maybe. But then they have a problem with moving people into the areas which are connected by infrastructure. So that's another problem. We won't even talk
you
about
forgot one. You forgot one more problem with all of that:
what the who called.
maintenance.
Oh, never mind. Yeah,
Maintenance. Like you
no,
can create roads, bridges, and stuff as much as you please, but like you
but
need at some point there's gonna be maintenance. Like otherwise everything will be crumbling, just like here. It's
yeah,
like
but
build as much as you want, but like nah.
the maintenance is also creates jobs. So that's part of the overall cyclical nature of this thing. But
Sure,
then
yeah,
but then
fair.
like exports, I guess, insofar as the rest of the world still needs medical supplies, and they can really ride that global economic recovery when probably I guess later this year and for let's say 2 to 3 more years after this. So
Yeah,
around until like 2024, let's say if we're generous, they can ride that for a bit, and then it's like, okay, what's the strategy after that? Maybe it's been covered by the new 5 year plan. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it
uh,
because I didn't read anything along those
we had
lines.
drafts. We read drafts before, and there wasn't any of that in.
And
So I don't think so. I really
now
don't think so.
you have them really cracking down on the regulatory stuff with like Ant Financial and the tech companies. So like if you crack that down, I get the reason for
Oh,
cracking down. That makes sense. The regulatory requirements make sense. But the problem is you're choking this out without providing any other alternative. So
oh, yeah, and then speaking of Ant, you saw what they're like. Let's say what the regulators are thinking. Like, there's rumors about like what the bill will be. Have you seen it?
no,
Well, word on the street, bro,
couple billion.
is we're no, we're looking at like just a little shy of 1 billion.
That's okay. That's not that bad.
I think they were.
U.S. or
Uh,
RMB.
hmm. Wait, let me see. If you let me scroll down my notes, I highlighted that information just in case it would become useful. Okay, yes, they're looking at potentially 975 million US.
That's that's okay. That's not.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure, but as things are going, that's a lot for them. That's a lot for them.
yeah, but as we already established, the party doesn't give a fuck about Ant Financial anymore.
No,
So
no.
that's that. Well, their fucking CEO resigned, right? It was the CEO, so that's not good.
Didn't he? No, no. Who jumped off the building recently? Wasn't one of
That's
them from
Baidu. That's
like?
a Oh no, Alibaba Media.
Yeah,
Media.
exact. Yeah, bro.
Oh,
I am.
the story about that was that I think this might be the same guy. Okay, I apologize, it's not the same guy because before this, I was reading about there was a widely reported dispute whereby somebody in that same division who's like a VP, I think,
Yeah.
basically he had like he had a mistress who was talking shit to his wife on social media. And then this sparked into like a whole thing. And then like Alibaba, the company, had to like step in. This might be the same dude. This might be he might have just ended it.
The news was. Let me see. I have it right here. The public relation director of Alibaba.
Did it say anything about his mistress?
Let me see if there was a cause of that. Um, uh, they don't really say, but they said he really did jump off the window.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's obvious.
Well, I mean, sometimes like you just fell off buildings. I tell you, rooftops are very like uneven and unsteady. You can easily lose footing and fall down.
So is there a reason for why he jumped off?
No, not really.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you're right.
It's that
Because of
dude?
heated discussions on the internet. I'm
Ah,
not
there we
quite
go.
sure what it means, but I assume this is what you mean. I assume
There
that's
you go. There you go. This is what happens.
potentially this is what you mean.
This
Yeah.
is what happens when you got a side bitch and you know shit's not kept under wraps.
Oh man, this is just sad at this point.
Also,
It's
really
just
bad
sad.
that he's public relations. So I guess
Oh, that's
maybe
ironic. That's super ironic. If you look at it this way. Oh man. And I mean, like aside from the Hong Kong thing and like let's say the promotion and dismissal thing from the NPC, which is, I mean, it's okay for a 2 sessions thing. It's not that bad. We can just see, oh, maybe yeah, maybe two small side things. Like okay, for example, like Xi Jinping attended the Inner Mongolia session because you really wanted to put the pressure on them for like anti-corruption. I think he really wants them to close down on all this coal like rent space that still exists right now in order to like still continue to fuck with like Zheng Xinhong and uh, what's the guy? Oh yeah, Xiao Jianhua, for example. Like these two dudes, because they were still there, and so he's still trying. But at the same time, I think he's hunting down Hu Shenhua by saying like, "Yo, bro, I'm at this session. I know you were there, and I'm still asking for people to investigate more, trying to corner you." Could be. It's not a good idea, but it could be because Wang Qishan and Hu Zhenhua were at the Hunan session, which is, I mean, it's kind of interesting that they were put together. It's interesting. I don't know about that. And the Teacup Gate, which is one of my, I think that's probably my favorite story. The Teacup Gate,
oh my
the
god.
best thing. You know what I'm talking about or not?
No, I
Tell
don't.
me.
I didn't. I
God
didn't get it,
damn. God damn. You sadden me sometime, bro.
bro. I don't follow these fucking lame ass stories, bro.
Bro, you remember I told you about the banquet gate? The banquet gate?
Bro,
Oh, god
I
damn it.
recall reading it, but
And there was the picture gate.
I remember Picture Gate.
Okay, you remember picture gate? Yeah, there was banquet gate for the Chinese New Year's like banquet at Reminda Huitang. So now we had the teacup gate. So
Oh god.
listen to this. Oh man, there was one picture that circulated online. Not a close up, but it's kind of a slightly zoomed out of the standing committee members, and you can clearly see that Xi Jinping was the only one who had two teacups. Only one who had
Okay.
two. Bro, you don't understand the symbolic. Just calm the fuck down.
Okay. I'm waiting.
And wait, and he had his own waiter to fill in the teacup.
Okay. I
That
kind of
person
see.
was only filling his teacup.
Okay. I see where this is going.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna go there. I'm just you know where it's going. I'm not gonna go there. But it's very interesting that the security details have been changed so much over the years, so much so that now bodyguards are pouring tea. This is
So
really interesting
he's
because the
that
dude.
paranoid, eh? He's that paranoid.
I mean, it sends a very interesting message because you're trying to look so tough and like now it's the politics of praising. So all the standing committee members and lots of the Politburo members just went and praised Xi Jinping during their speech, and you're like, man, like you guys are trying so hard to act as if, god damn, like the echo chamber is so intense.
See, bro,
But
he's not.
when you look at the details, for example, picture gate and the banquet gate. Banquet gate was like you had four dudes standing their back to the cameras, and they were clearly not senior party members. They were clearly bodyguards, like just a few meters away, looking at the hall. It's like, God damn, what do you think can happen in this room, man? Like, wow. And now you have bodyguards pouring tea. It's like you say you're in such a great position. Well, I mean, act in this way. Because if we look at this and we see that the close bodyguards are pouring you tea, I mean, it raises question about security, personal security, and potentially state security.
You know what? Fair enough, because shit like this has happened in since the founding of the People's Republic
Yep.
With the Lin Biao incident. So you know what?
Sure.
I don't fault him for having institutional memory of shit. So
It doesn't look good.
no,
Like when
but
you're really trying to flex that you'll be there and you talk about 2035 and there's no successor appointed and like you act as if you're the emperor kind of, and looking at this it's like, man, like to get in the Renmin Dahuitang or inside Zhongnanhai, you need to go through the gates. There's extensive security checks. It's like, what do you think can potentially happen in this room? Like, this is the level of anxiety we're dealing with right now.
is that level of security any different from, say, like the U.S. president?
Um, that's a
Probably
good
less.
question. That's a good
Probably
question.
less.
But what I remember is during the Hu Jintao and the Jiang era, chicks were pouring tea. That I remember. Oh
You
yeah.
know, I get the reasoning behind it. But you're right. It doesn't send a great message. At the same time,
Well, you do what
he's
you got to
not.
do. You do what you got to do.
Yeah,
I get that.
he
I
knows
get
he's
that.
not. He's not. He knows he's not governing by consensus.
Yeah, man. You said that. Yeah. Amen to that.
So if you're not governing by consensus, you know, you got to take precautions just in case.
That's very fair. But what does it tell you for 2022? It simply means that the struggle must be absolutely insane right now. That we need to post bodyguards inside Remin Dahuitang for a meal, and that we need to have bodyguards pouring tea. Like, this is going completely out of hand. And I just hope that somebody or they can come up to some form of compromise because this will not end well. If it just continues like that, it's definitely not going to end well. That's all I have to say about that. Either you find a compromise to rule past 2022, so you engage, like you provide things to others. Otherwise, if you go beyond the limits, I mean, there's no limits, but if you go beyond the limits, like what kind of quality of life do you have as a ruler? Like, you know what I mean?
It's 2020. Yeah, 2022 is fast, man. That shit
Oh, it's very fast.
coming fast.
Speaking of dates, one of my friend like reported like, oh yeah, did you hear the thing about like China's gonna invade Taiwan in 6 years? And I was like,
Still
what are you
talking about
talking?
this?
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, so I read it and I was like, okay, that's a U.S. admiral. So this guy is just dumb as shit because he just re-digested what's being said. I think last year or something like that. Like, oh yeah, like we're definitely not doing anything before 2027, but it doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless, and somehow he had to capitalize on that. I don't get it. Oh
Well, wait,
man, this is just
what's 2027?
that's the other that's the 21 the 21st Party Congress.
Oh, I thought there was like a more significant date with regards to Taiwan. I was like, what the fuck
I
is?
think there was, but I forgot what it was. But I think there is something, but I forgot what. Anyway, she said that like there's a 5 year plan for the military, so people interpret it as okay, for the
Oh,
next 5 years after that date there won't be any attacks. I was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Like, oh
man.
yeah, like they will overrule the U.S. I was like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Oh yeah,
Ah, Lord.
it's that time for all the GDP projections again. Because remember,
Oh
like
yeah.
around like 2012, they were like, oh yeah, overtake U.S. by 2025, and then now it's more like was it like 2050, I think, or some shit like that. But yeah, it's just
I mean, the best predictions are still around. Like, I mean, total GDP may be earlier than that,
Yeah, but
probably,
doesn't mean
most likely.
shit.
But yeah, but that's but like people talking about the GDP is like are you that dumb to use this as an indicator of anything? Show me per capita, then we'll talk. Like start with that, and then we'll have a discussion on who's a superpower, who's a medium power, and who's living in the third world. Like we'll look at that first. How's that? Because like, oh yeah, it overtakes the GDP. Yeah, but it's what does that mean? They're like what, like 4 times more populous. So if you look at it this way, but if you look at it this way, it's like, man, this is very sad. You need 4 to make the productivity of 1. Oof. Oof.
Yes,
No, but I mean, if you really want to dumb it down that hard, like I'm going down that road, like if this is what your argument is, like mine will be okay. So you need 4 Chinese workers for 1 US one to make the same. Like I don't know what else you want to say about that. It's just a dumb conversation to have. But
yeah,
Li Keqiang said that they would go back to having targets. So I mean,
yeah,
that's
6%, 6% this year.
it's gonna be tough. Oh, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, man. Oof.
Let's see what they report for first quarter. Let's see if that's going to be any good. But I mean, yeah,
I'm not quite
yeah.
sure.
Side note: just fucking military analysts are always so fucking annoying. Oh my god! Like people who study, who quote unquote specialize on like analyzing Chinese military affairs. Like, oh, these people are the worst. Like, oh, I don't understand. First of all, how these people even have jobs because this shit is fucking pointless. Like you're just making up scenarios in your head and like drawing out battle scenarios in your own head. I saw a graphic today, and it was like forward deployments of naval forces, U.S. versus China in the South China Sea, and it showed China having a significant advantage. I was like, yeah, no shit, that's their own fucking backyard.
Yeah, but like, hold that thought. Hold on. Like, bro, the Beiyang fleet.
It's not still called that, right? It's not called that anymore, I hope.
I don't really care. I just remember the Beiyang fleet. It's like, bro, they're coming in with massive, like industrial revolution level ships, and all you have are like wooden boats. Oh, but we have more. Like, yeah, good luck with that. Good luck.
No,
Good luck with that.
The point of the graphic is just to show that China has more naval forces in the region, which is
just fair. Like it should be that. Like yeah. I wouldn't expect anything else than that.
And
it's like, okay. It's like it's just like if I go around the U.S., the U.S. has a significant advantage. Like, oh yeah, no shit, no shit, no shit. Wow. I wouldn't expect that. Yeah, but it's the same for people who are focusing on international relation. Like the amount of things that come out of their mouths are unreal. Like, oh man, they want this, bro. They don't even know what they want. Like, like come on, dog. Like, and this. Oh yeah, this would be a good segue. Because I was reading a note, and I really agree with that. That the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is in complete disarray, and like I was doing a review on who's sitting on the ministry right now, looking at age and career patterns just for fun. It doesn't look very good. Like it really doesn't look good compared to other ministries. For the Wang Yi is way too old, and I think they haven't changed him because they don't know what to do. Because like I've looked at people below, and like, oh man, it really doesn't look good. Because like if we go back like 2013, like okay. Or I forgot, like when was Zhang Tiecheng, like Zhang Tiesh, when was he minister again? Was like 20
a while ago.
Didn't he finish in 2012 though? Like 2007 to 12? Yeah, so I think that was the case. But anyway, the point is we had Yang and then we had Wang. Okay, but Wang was groomed and ready to go right off the bat. Not necessarily good, but still, you had someone there a party player. Like you had the guy. Now, oh man, I've been looking at the list of names, and there are like I think there's like one or two options, and I think there's one that's more likable than the other one. But again, this dude is like I don't know what to expect from that guy. like like it, we don't know because he's not really known. Like he's kind of a follower of Wang Yi, which is this says a lot. This says a lot just by itself, and it's not a really public guy. And as far as we're concerned, he's not really like he's not really opinionated, and he hasn't shown much support also for Xi Jinping's ideology. So we're not sure what to expect, and that's very bad because you need someone that can withstand the blasts. If I can say it like this, you need someone who's ready to take on the grenades for the team. Like, office grenade, boom. Like you need someone for that.
They might.
And I think that's why Wang Yi looks so old right now, bro. He's been beaten like Baghdad, bro. Bro, he's been bombed out, bro, and depleted so hard.
They might have
But
to
like,
parachute someone, airdrop someone into the ministry, bro.
you can't do that
Why not?
because you just other ministries. I would kind of agree with you on that, and even super ministries like the NDRC, I would agree with you. But the MFA, no, you can't do that because you need someone. You need people that are highly expendable. That's one thing. Well, I mean, and you need someone that's not too close to the inner workings of the party, if that makes sense.
You just need a nobody.
But you need someone who understands how the structure works, because he's going to be in charge of that to a certain degree, and he needs to understand how Chinese diplomacy, whatever that means at this point, is conducted.
Man, this sounds like the worst fucking ministerial post ever.
Oh no, this is like finding a replacement for Wang Yi is a complete nightmare. I think like the guy is supposed to be like Zheng Ziguang, like maybe. They're also hinted like maybe he could also go to US or UK because these two dudes are coming close to retirement, which is fair. But at the same time, I mean, if it's not him, it really doesn't look good. It really does not look good. Because as of yet, like foreign affairs is just conducted through the commission, which is directed by Xi Jinping, and you have like Yang Jiechi, you have like Wang Qishan. Wang Yi is just a note taker in all of that. Like I can't believe people are still talking about foreign affairs. Like it's like, man, shush, like change. Don't look at that. Even like committees on the NPC and on the CPPCC like have kind of the same leeway, to be fair, because they're ministerial in rank. So like, man, the conduct of foreign affairs, like, oh, oof, oof. So yeah, this is gonna be a clusterfuck, man. And I can't believe they want to let it linger up until 2023. Like I don't get it at this point. It's just wow.
Well, Wang Yi and fucking Yang Jiechi are being sent to Alaska today, actually. So we'll see how this dynamic duel fucking performs.
I don't know what you mean by perform. At this point, I have lost all hope.
Bro, they're there to fucking take notes and then relay that shit back to the Politburo.
Yeah, that's why you should just send people like Wang Qishan. Like at least you can just give a phone call and have a decision on the spot.
And the U.S. sent Blinken. The U.S. sent Anthony Blinken. He's gonna feel mad disrespected. I feel like.
Yeah, probably.
Like, because I assume he's got like executive decision making power, like proper.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, probably. I mean, the way he's talking, I feel like he does. or at least he has a very clear prerogative on what he can and cannot do. Like that's clear, and that's what I've been saying. Like in the last paper I wrote, and hopefully it goes on good. But like, man, they have no prerogative. They like it's unclear what they have to do at any given moment. Like it's unclear,
Bro.
except reporting. The rest is like, whoa, it's very blurry.
And jump on grenades as they come.
Yeah, but at the same time, yeah, they jump on grenades and they also send grenades. But as I've been saying, they do thing on purpose, but it's not intentional. Because like if you really actually give them intent or agency, man, you're dumb. You're dumber than I thought. Like give these people agency. Oof. Nah, man, they don't have any agency. They do shit because they're constrained to do shit, or they have a limited like array of decisions they can make, consequences or not. This is just how it's gonna go. So
Could does the party have unilateral power to just merge ministries?
yes,
Or just merge it with like trade or something? Merge it with commerce.
there was a trade dude that was transferred to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs a few weeks ago. So we'll see how that goes. But I think he was on the trade. I think he was on like the first phase of the trade deal. One of these dudes. So that's not really good.
He's a bed shitter.
Probably. But speaking of bed shitting, man, like, what about like? Do you have anything else on the economy for us?
There's a pilot of personal bankruptcy in Shenzhen. So we'll see how that goes. But
Finally,
yeah. Former chief executive of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange said the exchange should be used as a conduit to draw massive amounts of international funding into Chinese SMEs.
oh,
China ratified the RCEP, but it seems kind of desperate, honestly. I mean, the fact that they ratified it so quick.
yeah. I think it was. Oh man. So have they worked out any additional details, or that was just it?
That's it. They're urging other parties to ratify it too. So it sounds
Oh
mad.
yeah. So yeah, of course, man. Let's just tie each other up with a belt and jump off the window altogether. Because mass and acceleration, bro. Like the more massive, the harder you're gonna hit the ground. That's good. That's good. I like it. I like the style. Oh man. All I'm saying is, economic wise, with the perspective on employment, and still the fact that we're unsure about. No, actually, we're kind of sure. Like I think Li Keqiang said it, there will not be another stimulus package, right? I think he said it. There
They
won't be
say
another
that.
one.
They say that.
Huh?
They say that.
Yeah, they say.
But
Yeah, they say that. Like, if this is actually true, this is gonna be hard. It's gonna be very hard for SMEs. It's gonna be very complicated.
it's
And to
already
be fair,
the environment
oh
is already
yes,
so accommodating. So I mean, if you can't survive, you
and
can't
this,
survive. That's it.
and they still have very poor access to credits because and financial is dead in the water. So this is 2021 will be hard, man. It's gonna be hard for these companies to go back on track. Like SOEs have their things just laid at their feet. Like there will always be a need for roads, bridges, construction in general, always. But SMEs, man, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be very complicated for them to go back.
I, yeah, but at the same time, like I think like you got to really hand it to the People's Bank of China and like the finance ministry. They are really trying their best to do as much as they can within the prerogative that they're given. So,
Which is
like,
very little.
yeah,
Just let's be clear. Let's be clear here. Very little.
I'm pretty sure the party just said you got to support SMEs, and then like you got to figure out what that means, because the policies are okay. They're not that useful. They're like, okay, yeah, your loans can be extended until whenever. Um, but other than that, I don't see any talk of like preferential rates.
No.
Obviously, no fucking just helicopter money coming down. So, yeah, I guess this is the best they can do. I don't know. Like fucking the Democrats' $1,400 stimmy check. I think this is as good as they can do.
Well, I mean, for now, of course, because I don't think the party is always. I think the party was never really willing to give free quiche. Let's be clear. Like, I don't think they do want to do that. Provide free quiche.
Yeah, because they know people are just going to depot, like save it, not spend it, which then.
Well, I mean, again, whose fault is that? Like, we could go back. Like, whose fault is that? Like, people are not saving. Like, people. Oh, sorry, people are saving. Like, yeah, but like, if you get sick, it costs quiche. Sending your kids to school costs quiche. Like, man, like you have no break. So if you give me 100 kwai, bro, I'm just gonna buy some like a pound of garlic, bro. Black garlic inflated as f, bro. Hey, swag, bro.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's black, so it's the best.
we'll have to watch. I think CPI is up pretty up 2-3% maybe this year so far. So
Oh yeah, I forgot. Like, weren't all the Chinese indexes like plummeting recently?
yeah, there was a small market correction,
Yeah.
and the national team had to step in, and
Goddamn.
which is pretty normal, honestly. I mean, the dip wasn't that bad, but I'm sure a couple retail investors got burned. But that's kind of that's what you get for.
It's usually small retail investor who get burned. And then the recourses to get your money back are not really existing.
Bro, what do you mean? Just go fucking vigilante justice, bro.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, vigilante justice. Oh, bro. Oh man.
Oh,
And
okay.
maybe on a final note, I think you missed that, and you're gonna be sad by this because I think you like that, but the Taishan Club has been dismantled.
Formally or informally?
No, it dissolved last month, and they made it kind of public because I think they wanted to be left alone.
They don't
So
have
they kind of
they don't
said
have
it that they were dissolving.
they don't have the most reputable members. Let's put it that way.
No, but like apparently, of course, this was triggered by the Jack Ma incident, which I get. Yeah, totally. Like, because you bring a light that you definitely don't want to have, especially for a group like this.
So would you consider Jack Ma first gen or second generation businessman, or like 1.5?
Uh,
Because Taishan Club is like the bastion of first generation Chinese businessmen.
yes. Uh, he's definitely not first because, I mean, that would be his dad, kind of. But although his dad is not really a businessman, but that would be his dad. So you could argue that it's more of a second generation, kind of. But like, I think he's older than the Baidu guy, and I think he's also older than the Dong, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, I mean, it's okay. So somewhere in the middle, I guess. But he's definitely not like top gen, like old quiche. That the kind of quiche that like you don't even know where it is anymore. Like you just don't know. It's everywhere and nowhere at the same time, bro. Like you absolutely know what I mean. These people like
It's
the
in China.
extent.
It's
Oh
in
yeah,
China.
but it's everywhere, and like what they do best, like shell companies upon shell upon shell upon shell upon shell upon shell. And like that shell company invested in this company, which is owned by the other, and then but this one is a shell for that one. So in the end, how much percent of that company is owned by the original one? Like 2%. But you need to go back like shells and shells and shells and shells.
I think the party really just gave up on like cracking down on first gen because this is just too much work.
It's very complicated, but I think the dissolution of the Taishan Club follows another club that was dissolved kind of recently. I think there was something in Beijing, like there was a room in Beijing. I don't remember the name, but there was one, and I think it also closed because of that.
Oh
So,
yes, I
oh,
think I know what you're talking about.
um, oh, which one was it
It's
again?
it's in Chaoyang, isn't it? Anyways, it's also entrepreneurs club, right? Like
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
Yeah. But it was in Beijing, and apparently the news was like, okay, when Jack got caught, they started reflecting, okay, we don't want this kind of influence or this bad light on us, so dissolving the Taishan Club and this Beijing room. I don't remember what it was, but anyway, so I think they want to be less identifiable by the party, which is fair. Um, they
But
don't
the
really have
party
the
the party
option.
knows. The party
Yeah, the
knows.
party knows. Yeah, the party knows. The party knows. But like, if you know that they have a meeting at this time that day, like it's much easier to crack down. Like, to be fair, it's much easier.
Man,
Like
Jack
if
Ma really shat the bed for everyone. Holy fuck.
oh yeah, I think he lost all of his friends in
Bro,
that
they're
transaction.
god damn. Sucks to be
Well,
him.
he used to be in like the Jiangnan club, and I think he's not there anymore.
He shouldn't be.
Well, because I don't think they want him there anymore. Because yeah, he brings the attention that you do not want, and it doesn't look good for the others. Because uh, like, and this again, this is something you will like a lot because that's your style. But like, I don't know if you remember, because I mean, you probably know, but like at the end of the Ming Dynasty and the Qing Dynasty, you had like all these secret societies
Yes.
that were flourishing,
Yeah.
and most of them, especially from the Ming going forward, were made by entrepreneurs or uh, let's say officials turning entrepreneurs, kind of
Yep.
like some people they're getting skin in the game, like and they're not happy with how the emperor is conducting affairs because like it's very conservative and like it's shutting down opportunities. But these secret societies had some leeway and pull inside the imperial court, and I think this is kind of something we're seeing right now. Like this is the kind of environment we live in. Like I think Xi Jinping is seeing them as the remnants of these secret societies, and it doesn't look good. Like like it feels wary about this. Although to be fair, they have existed for a long time, and if they wanted it, they could have done much more shit. Let's put it this way: like they could have
Es-
done so much more
Especially in the
pain
south.
to the Chinese economy. Like, bro, if the Taishan Club wants it, they can topple down the economy. They
They also
could.
fuck herself in the end, but
Oh yeah, but like I mean, yeah, sure, they're not that dumb.
that's what I mean.
But
Like,
what I'm saying is like you kind of have this atmosphere, like they have these secret societies that are not really pro conservative and like more like okay, let's get in the foreign resources, and we want to conduct business without the outsiders. We want that, and the party's like not really pro outside, pro conservative stuff like this. It's kind of something we've seen before, kind of.
yes, but
Okay, but
I don't think I don't think
I thought you'd like my reflection more. I thought you'd like it more.
it's okay. But I mean, like
Oh god damn!
the problem is that the new wave aren't they're not that smart.
No, because
They're
as we've
technologically smart, but they're politically
no
dumb.
no no they're not. You dumbass! You give them so much credit, bro. So
Bro, I'm comparing them.
if I send you back to the Stone Age, you're not smarter, but you just know a little bit more than others, and you'll be a beast.
That's
This
what I
is
mean. You have
this
to compare them to their local environment.
Exactly. So they're not technologically smart. It's just it was so there was so nothing that literally anything would have been better.
Yeah, but
Kind of, kind of.
the point being they're more
Yeah,
reliant on technology. So,
sure.
but they're
Than
also
actual assets.
they have no concept of politics. Like the
No,
dumbass ByteDance founder. Like I'm sure he's a fucking idiot politically. Like, he's doesn't understand it. Even Jack Ma
like
forgot.
he should have. Yeah, I mean, like that was probably okay. If we say second generation, let's say he should have been the smartest of them all in the second generation.
Okay, I'll give him that.
I mean, to be fair, like the first generation is more like the end of the 40s. People born in 48, 49, 50. Yeah, okay, so let's say he's a strong second generation, okay? He should have known because, like, he has mad extensive ties to these people. Like, how would you not know? And how did you think that you could just pull rank just like that when people have been sent to jail for so much less than that? That's
I,
what I don't understand.
I think it was on purpose, but not intentional.
See, exactly. Boom. He was put in a situation. He just said his shit because it was on purpose. He had to say something, but he never thought that it would go down that road.
He didn't think
See,
about it.
on purpose, but not intentional. It's the same mindset that so many of them have. But the first generation, like for example, like Liu Chuangzhi, uh, like from Lenovo,
Yeah,
like this guy is smart because he knows how shit can go down, and he's not trying anything like that, right? So the generation like 50, 51, 52, 53, like up until 55, 56, like the first half of the 1950s, like these people are still trying to go at it
still,
slow.
they're still around.
Yeah, they're still around. Not all of them, but most of them. But what we've seen is the crackdown. Like I mean, you have some from this generation because they were clearly not on the good side, but it's so much easier than to crack down on the new generation. It's so easy. It looks like so easy,
Yeah, because they're fucking dumb.
and they don't have actual assets.
Yeah, that's another good point. They don't have physical assets. It's all digital, which is a problem.
I mean, for here, like in the Western world, we get the point. But if you don't have physical assets in China, dismantling you, it's just a matter of like will. It's just a matter of will. But if you have buildings, if you have your hands are in coal, or still just simple as that, bro, non-ferrous metals, non-ferrous metals. As long as you have your skin in that, it's complicated. It's hard to remove you. It takes years of anti-corruption campaign to dismantle your organization. But it just took the will to shank Jack for him to be shanked. That's all it took.
And may that be the lesson for this episode. On purpose,
Absolutely,
on purpose, but not intentional.
bro. If anyone has an actual term we can coin, probably in German they have something that represents this idea, probably. But I couldn't find anything better than saying that something is on purpose but not intentional. So there's agency but no agency at the same time. Bro, the Schrodinger decision.
The Schrodinger's agency.
Oh man.
Oh,
Oh
I think
Lord.
that's a good point to end this episode.
Yep.
We'll do another wrap. We'll do another update at the end of this month.
Yep.
All right. Ciao.
Show.